Israel has accused Hamas of seriously violating the terms of the Gaza ceasefire deal, saying the body of mother Shiri Bibas was not among the remains handed over by the militant group as agreed. Hamas yesterday released the bodies of 4 hostages in Gaza, saying they were the remains of Shiri Bibas and her 2 sons, who had been killed in an Israeli airstrike in November 2023, alongside the body of a 4th man, Oded Lifshif. Israel has formally identified the bodies of 9-month-old Kufer and his older brother, 4-year-old brother Ariel, as well as the unrelated 4th man. In a statement, the Israel Defense Forces say their identification process has revealed the 4th body is not Shiri's or that of any other hostage. They go on to say it is a violation of utmost severity by the Hamas terrorist organisation, which is obligated under the agreement to return 4 deceased hostages. We demand that Hamas return Shiri home along with all our hostages. Well, joining us now is Middle East politics analyst Dr. Martin Keir. Dr. Keir, good afternoon to you. Just awful for the family of Shiri Bibas. They've been through so much already.
Yes, it must increase their anguish incredibly. Firstly, getting the knowledge that they'll be getting Shiri's body back along with her 2 children, and then for the body not to be identified as Shiri must really increase the anguish tremendously.
While we await a response from Hamas, Israel is saying that this has violated the terms of the ceasefire. Does that mean an end to that process?
I don't think it means that the ceasefire process will end. I don't see any upside to Hamas actually not releasing Shiri's body. They are obviously under the impression that the body they had was Shiri and that they were complying with the ceasefire agreement. It is certainly in Hamas's best interest to be compliant with the ceasefire agreement. And I think the politics of this from both sides is now coming to play.
Hamas said that she and her 2 young sons were killed in an Israeli airstrike. What else is known about that and when it was, how it happened?
Well, I don't think a lot is known other than what Hamas has actually said, that the family, after being taken hostage from their kibbutz and taken back to Gaza, was killed sometime in November last year, or 2023, so very early on in the war. Other than that, we don't have any specific details about where they were killed and how they were killed.
Given, as you say, it was so long ago, November 2023, and the situation within Gaza, the conditions there, does Hamas, as far as you know, have facilities for holding bodies?
Well, I wouldn't suspect so. They would have to be in some sort of refrigeration, which would require electricity or some sort of fuel. And I think we need to remember that it was not just Hamas that participated in the October 7 attacks. Other militant organisations like Palestinian Islamic Jihad also took hostages on October 7 and were responsible for their safeguarding. So it's very possible that other organisations had control of Shiri and her 2 children when they were killed. How they were kept is unknown, and I suspect that's why we have this confusion about the identity of Shiri's body.
So sadness and anger as well in Israel over this, and indeed the way that the bodies were handed over last night by Hamas and other groups that are involved. What other ways could it have been done, and what is the issue there within Israel?
I suspect the fact that it was a publicity stunt by Hamas. There was, again, the politics of the hostage release from both sides is at play. I think Hamas is keen to let everyone know that they are compliant with their obligations under the initial ceasefire agreement, and I suspect that that's why we're seeing such a spectacle of Hamas being in control of the repatriation of these bodies of killed hostages.
As you will know, there's been explosions in Tel Aviv, 3 bus bombs, a 4th device suspected as well. What does that tell you about what Hamas supporters are doing?
Well, I don't necessarily know that it was Hamas that was responsible for the bus bombings. I think what we need to understand is that Israel is conducting an intensive security operation throughout the West Bank, systematically destroying many homes and facilities in refugee camps in Jenin and Nablus. And this is causing significant tensions within the West Bank. This is a continuation of the war in Gaza in the West Bank, which is more ideologically important for Israel.
President Trump's focus seems to have shifted somewhat to Ukraine of recent days. Is Netanyahu, do you think, still in contact with him? Has President Trump given him the green light to take whatever steps come next?
I'm unsure as to whether there has been an actual green light, but certainly I think Netanyahu and his government have received favourable replies from the Trump administration as to exactly what they would like to happen. I mean, Israel the other day announced the establishment for the Agency of Voluntary Departure that would be consistent with Trump's plan of forcibly removing 2 million Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. You also see various important Arab states trying to come up with their own plan. So whether this was perhaps Trump's underlying goal of publishing or making some outlandish statement with the view of getting Arab states to actually pay for the reconstruction of Gaza is unknown. But certainly Israel and Netanyahu would like all Palestinians to be removed from Gaza.